Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm gonna show you how to make this cute Mickey nautical kind of style. We're gonna start with a 40 millimeters ball and 25 grams of black. I am using cold porcelain in this case because I was making a topper to ship. But you guys can use any type of a material, just adapt your materials to the steps. So if you're using edible, don't use glue, use water or egg whites, and like that. If you're using polymer clay, don't use foam, use aluminum foil and things like that. So I'm gonna cover the ball and take all the excess off because I don't want to mold with that black. I just want to cover it. And now with the heart cookie cutter, I'm gonna make the top of the heart, and we're gonna get the excess off where we're gonna place his face. If you think that's too complicated, you can make the heart with the skin color when we start making his face and just put on the top of the black. But I think it looks cuter when the face is not just on the top and it looks like one same thing, So I'm just getting all the marks and fingerprints and everything out, and just being sure that I didn't lose the shape of the heart. And now I'm gonna place a toothpick in the bottom part, and just let it dry. For the ears, we're gonna need 7 grams of black each. You make a ball and you flat on your table, and we're gonna place the toothpick to let it dry, because if you let it dry not hanging, it can mark or flatten and not be cute. So just be careful when you're putting your toothpick, because you don't want to see the toothpick going out on the back on the front. So use your fingers. Be sure that the 2 ears are the same size. For the shoes, we're using 14 grams of black for each shoe. So you make a ball and then a teardrop shape, just going up and down on one side of the ball. And then we're gonna just push down at the back of the shoe, because Mickey has that ball kind of style shoe. So the front and the ball, and then you just make a part on the back, then it's flat, where you're gonna start his legs. And we're gonna do that for both of the shoes. I'm using it at this shoe just to make a line separating the shoe and the sole of the shoe, just to give some detail, but you can use a ruler or anything straight you have home. And then we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. For the body, we're using 30 millimeters ball. I just cover with the white. I didn't even open, like roll anything. I just covered to don't shrink. And now with 13 grams of white each, we're gonna make each of his legs. So for the body, I just really cover with a little bit white, because in case I wanna put a clay on clay, I want them to stick to each other. If you purchase this styrofoam, you probably can, when it dries, it's gonna go up and not be glue and like pretty. So that's why I put a little bit there. I roll the dough all together and cut in the middle to make 2 the size of for his legs. I always say that I'm trying to give you all those measurements and weights and things like that, but always don't go through exactly that. Look at your model, to your topper, for decoration. Always check what you're making, because since it's a handmade product, they always can look at like different. Even if I'm making the next one, it's gonna look different. So that's just to give a little tip and a little help in how you can start to it. I'm putting 2 picks on both sides, making the bottom side a little bit skinnier than the top of the leg. And be sure that the 2 legs are the same height. And then everything is the same. I'm putting the shoes on the top of the craft foam and the top of the cake dummy. And now I'm gonna start placing putting the Mickey together. I always like to put in the foam, because I can leave them there drying and be sure that it's exactly the way I want it to. It's completely dry. So now I'm putting a little glue and placing the legs. Make a pre-hole, or just use something just to touch the toothpick when you're pushing down, because you don't want to lose the form you just did. Now I'm placing the ball, then we just cover the white, and I'm being sure that my leg and the ball are connected, so when it dries, it doesn't fall apart. And he's already has the shoes and the fit open the way I want it to be in the end up for my topper. Now I just made a snake with some white, doesn't have a measurement, just to go over and to give a little finishing of the legs. So we're gonna smooth it out all over to be sure that it's connected. You can use any tool or hands, and you can use even a little bit of water if you need to smooth it out and your dough is not super soft. And keep smoothing until we don't see any marks. If you haven't add me on Instagram, it's #cupncakesgourmet. Just go there, because sometimes I don't show everything that I'm making here because it was on the video. But if you see anything that you like there, I'm more than happy to make a video for you guys, and tag me if you make something and I can see what you guys are making, and I'll be very happy if you make anything with my tutorials. I'm using a little bit of water to smooth because I don't want any marks or fingerprints or any cracks, so it's always good to do that so when it dries it's perfect. For now, for the body, I'm using 20 grams of blue, and I'm just making like a squish cone kind of shape. We're just making his upper body, and now I'm just going to be sure that it's on that shape of like wider on the bottom and skinner on the top. And with my fingers, I'm opening the bottom of his jacket, so that will be covering a little bit of the bottom part of the body. So you want to make a indentation on the bottom big enough with your fingers and on the sides, making the jacket. Then you can place that jacket on the top of his pants and looks like it's covering, not just on the top of it, if that makes any sense. Use anything you have and cut to make the details and the picture that I'm following. Always follow a picture, print a picture and put in front of you. He has this little details on his jacket, and that's what I was making it. And now I'm gonna make all the little drapes that the jacket have, but that you can print a picture and follow that picture and put as many details as you guys want to. Here we go. And now I'm gonna make the opening of the jacket. Since it's closed, I'm still following the pictures for the details. I'm just using the tool to make a line between the bottom of his jacket to the top of the jacket. And now we're gonna place a toothpick, a little glue if you need it, need a water or egg whites, and we're gonna place the top part. That's why you want the indentation, because you want the blue part to be covering half of that ball that we placed there as his belly. Now we're gonna make a little blue snake. Doesn't have any like weight, because you just need to be long enough to cover around this top part of his neck. And so we're just gonna flatten out and be sure that it's like straight and flat both sides. And you can measure and on your model and just cut and diagonal both sides to make the top of his jacket. Curve to see if you cover everything, and just set aside. And now with 12 grams of blue, I'm gonna make the sleeves. I'm gonna make the top of the sleeves a little skinnier and the bottom a little open, and no matter what you want, open down in my fingers to make his elbow. I'm placing the toothpick on both sides just in case it dries and I need the pre-hole, and then we're gonna wait to put on our model. I'm just being sure that if I need that hole, then I'm gonna have the toothpick right there to hold the body and the hands. And I'm making little marks to show more realistic fabric details, and pinching together the sides of the end of the jacket to the same way we did to the bottom of the jacket. set aside, and we're gonna do the same thing to the other arm. If you guys want to see the mini, this was a topper that Mickey was being hold a mini pregnant belly, and I was so happy to make that special topper, so I decided to make the video. So if you guys want to see the mini video, let me know. I will post it here for you guys too. I'm putting the toothpicks on the body so I can set the hand the way I wanted to dry for Mickey to be holding her belly. But if you're not making mini, you're just making the Mickey, you can place his hands the way you want it, holding a cake, holding a cupcake or a candle, or just on the sides of his body. So now is the time that you're gonna pick how you want him to be standing. I'm gonna show the one I was making, and he is holding her belly, so that's why he's kind of looking to the side and holding his hands up. But that you can change and make the topper you need to be. Make sure then the holding the way you want to fit your mini, but if you just making him, you don't need to worry too much about. And now I'm putting the snake, then we cut it and flat it to make the top of his jacket. I'm making little tiny balls for his buttons of the jacket. I actually in the end got those off and made little tiny ones because I thought that was kind of looking big when it dried. So if you're making those little balls, make a little smaller than the ones you see in the video, and because it's gonna look cute at the end. So now I'm putting 4, and at the end I took those 4 out and I made 6 little ones and one on the top, and I thought them look cuter. I'm making a little tiny snake with white and flattening that snake for the 2 details on the sleeves, because he has that little yellow around. And in the back you can see the picture that I was following the details. So always have a picture, very easy for you to look and see where the details are. Even if you have a smartphone, it's easier to have on the paper, so you don't need to stop modeling to do that. You're seeing 2 hearts for the shape of the head because I'm making mini and mini all the same time. So you let it dry, the black dry a little bit, and now we're gonna start putting his face together. So I'm putting glue all around because cold porcelain, if it's not really glue, when it dries, shrinks. But for fondant or polymer clay, you use the glues for your material. And now we're gonna place the same size heart, then we cut it on the black on his face. Try to don't press too much with your fingerprints on the face. Try to use more your palms so you don't have any marks. And I'm gonna cut the excess on the bottom because I don't need that where the rest of his face is gonna be. Now with 12 grams of skin color, I'm making a ball, and I'm making a little roll. It's probably like less than 3 fingers wide, and I'm going with my fingers on the sides up and down until you kind of mold all the excess in the middle. So the middle is going to be his mouth and his nose, and the sides going to be his cheeks, and that's what I'm doing it. So take your time to do this part because it gets a little harder when it's the first time you're doing it, but after a while you know kind of this how wide you need to be to cover his whole face, and then you can make the cheek, and the rest you're going to make the mouth and the face. So I'm pushing down the excess to cover where the black was ending, and that's gonna be kind of the separation between the bottom of his neck and his face. And now the excess in the middle, this little ball, oval ball that we have in the middle, we're gonna model the rest of his face. Always put a little up, look on the side of the model, not just in front, because if it's a kid stopper, he's gonna be seen by all the sides. So always worry about that too. I cut it the face, the two, just marking where the mouth are gonna be, and now with the ball tool, I'm just gonna mark where the tongue is gonna place. And I'm gonna close the 2 other sides. Marking now with the ball to where the nose are gonna be, so even if it's dry a little later, I know where I wanted to put it. and I'm gonna put a glue and a pre-hole where I'm gonna place the ears already, because if you hold the ears to make the hole on the styrofoam, you're gonna lose the shape. So use another toothpick, make the holes, check if there's where you want it to be, and then you put the glue and you put it the ears with the toothpick around, and be sure that they're the same size. So now you have his face. We're gonna let it dry a little bit. I mix a little bit skin color with red to make a teardrop for his tongue, and we're gonna place right in that little ball we made. And I will mark in the middle. Be careful if you don't have any black on your tools, because if you do that, you're gonna make a mess. That's why I was cleaning. Always when you're using black or red, always check if your table and your tools are clean before you go to other color. With 17 grams of white, we're gonna start making his head. He has like a captain head, so I just made like a roll, and I trying to make the top be kind of like a triangle because it goes up, but always look at the picture and follow the picture as best as you can. With 3 grams of yellow, I'm opening a circle, then it's gonna be the base of the head. You can print the logo that he had on his head, or you can try to make feathers and make the Mickey head like I'm doing. But if I was going to make again, I would probably print it and use like Mod Podge or any edible glue or things like that, or a edible printer, because I think it would be more detailed, or like, I don't know, it would look cuter. But since I thought then I could make it with the clay, I made with the clay. But if I was going to make it again, I think it was going to be easier to make with something print. So I'm just making little feathers around and a little circle in the middle as I'm looking in the picture. And you can print as many pictures as you want if you Google Mickey Nautical, and then you can try to copy as many details as you want. So I made that base in yellow. Now I'm making a little circle and 2 little smaller circles to make the Mickey head shape for the detail on the top of the red, and I'm gonna place on that hat. So I'm making the little tiny head for the detail. I'm gonna place the red circle and place the little Mickey head on top of it, just like that. And now I'm gonna cut the part in the back because I wanted to see it straight on his ears, and if this is like rounded the way it was going to be very hard to touch the ears, but it was easy for me to mold and put the details. So now you cut it as much as you want and as big as you want the head to be, and to touch between his face and the ears, and just place there. I'm placing a little tiny, I think it was less than 2 grams of black for the nose on the place. And I don't have the part of the painting because I don't know, I needed to send this off and the hurricane came, so I don't have the video. But in the end of the video, I'm gonna show you the face and the done project, so you guys can just look, or go look at another Mickey or Minnie videos than I have here in the channel, you can see. So now I'm making a cone, a ball, and a teardrop shape for his hands. And if I'm not mistaken, I put how many grams was, I think it was 5 grams for these hands. And then we're gonna cut a little V shape right there to separate the fingers and his thumb. And remember, the Mickey and all the Disney friends, they all have 4 fingers, not 3, not 5. So we just need to cut 3 more right there. And you smooth and make everything round. Since he's gonna be holding her belly, I'm twisting a little around like he's holding something. But if you want putting his hands next to the body, you put next to the body, or depends on if you want him to be holding something. I made a less than 1 gram circle, and I'm flattening it up to be the top of the glove, the sleeve part of the glove. And I'm doing the same thing to the other side. And remember that you need to cut this V and the all the way around because they are mirror image, so the thumbs are always close to the body. When you're making princesses and things like that, always remember to put the tongue in the right place. I'm placing a foam ball right there because I don't want his hands to go down when it dries, since I need to make the mini and put it there. So I want to let it dry and then put the fingers and then be able to be up, you know, holding where I want him to hold the mini. I just made a long snake with a really tiny side to make his tail, and I put it in the back. Now I'm placing the hands and I'm gonna let it dry like that until I can make the mini. And if you want to see how painted, here is he holding the belly. If you want to see mini, you let me know. And if you want to see the painting, if you just looking at the picture is not enough, please go in the link below. I was saying leave the painting the Mickey face for you guys. I talk to you guys soon, and I hope you guys like this video. Bye.